Everyone. So in the last video, we have learned about the cluster IP service. And in this video, we are going to learn about the NodePort service. Okay. So cluster IP service, we have learned, right? That if we wanted to send a request or we wanted to use the port inside the cluster, and if we are deploying the cluster IP service, we will be only able to access within the cluster. So first we have to log in into some pod, and then from pod, you have to send a request to cluster IP service, that is cluster IP service, and from cluster IP service you will be able to communicate to the pods. This is what we have learned in the last video, right? We have to log in into the some login pod, and from there you will be able to. But if you are sending a request to the cluster IP service or these pods, the request will get failed. Okay, so there was no possible communication you can do directly from the pod. Mainly for the devs and QA team, it was not possible using cluster IP service. So when we are using the NodePort service, right, the developers outside the clusters or the QA team will be able to access these pods directly, right? What I'm trying to say is when we deploy the NodePort, actually we have already discussed these points in the previous video where we have discussed the architecture. Please go through and understand that concept. Okay. So when we deploy the NodePort behind the hood, it is also deploying the cluster IP service. Okay. So let's say if we are sending a request to the NodePort service, this is my port number, and why this port number is there and all, you have to go through and understand the complete theory in the previous video only. Okay, so in this video, I will only target to demo it. Okay, so what I will do is first I will clear my system CLS and then I will apply. So I have already written this. I will apply this file. Okay, so NodePort demo this file. So if you see currently, it will take couple of seconds to deploy and go into the running state. Okay, so let's check it. kubectl get all. So container is currently in creating state, and this is my port number, which I have already declared in my file, right? So if you see, this is my file. Meanwhile, it is getting into ready state. We can discuss this file. So this is nothing but a deployment. We are discussing about this deployment in almost in every video. The complete video you can go and check into my previous video where we have discussed about replication controller, replica set, and deployments. Okay, so this syntax and all I have explained it. The important thing here is we have to learn about the services. Okay, the services we are declaring of type NodePort. In the previous video, we have declared it as a cluster IP service, right? Cluster IP of the kind service, but here it is NodePort of kind service. Okay, you can give the selector, and that's nothing but kind of tags. Okay, again, this has been discussed lot in the previous video. So what is this port? So I'm mentioning it as a port number. So what is the port number of my node port? So here it is 81 and target port is 80. So all my India website, right? That is my image. So this is going to listen at a port number 80. Okay, so containers are listening on port number 80. That is why we have mentioned as target port, and node port is so this is the node port which I am giving. If you are not giving or if you are commenting it, so Kubernetes will assign any random number between this high range port. Okay, so by this time I think that must be deployed. Let's go and see this. kubectl get all. Okay, so everything is in running state. Okay, so what I will do is, if you see in this diagram, so I have deployed one Kubernetes service that is called NodePort, which is having this IP address, and this is listening at port number this. Okay, and cluster IP service also it has created, right? Behind the scene, if behind the hood, it has created a cluster IP service also. So what I have to do is first I will use and I'll show you. Basically, I will copy this port number. Okay, and after copying, let me show you in the diagram also what I'm trying to say, trying to do basically. So I'm going to send the request to this port number, and this will automatically take care of routing it to my website. Okay, so this is my port number. I mean this, let's open this website. I think the port number is same. I'll just paste it and I'll press enter. Okay, so if you see, it has started giving me the output, right? So why I'm using India traffic? Because in the next, or maybe upcoming, in the next video itself, I will try to show about the load balancer service, where I will demo about the Australia traffic and India traffic, and you will see how beautifully this load balancer will route the traffic to different websites or different apps. Okay, so I think this video makes it, I mean, this concept is clear for you. So in the previous video, we were only doing everything from the command prompt, where we are first logging into the port type is any port pods, and then from pods we were trying to access the website. Okay, so I'm deleting it. What I will do is, in this video itself, I will demo about the load balancer also. So this one, if you see, I have a load balancer file. Okay, so if you see, I have two demo deployments. Let me even do it so that meanwhile I'll explain. This will be ready. Okay, so kubectl apply -f, then my local load balancer 1, and I'll hit enter. Okay, so it is creating, and meanwhile it is getting into continuous getting ready state. Let's discuss this. Okay, so what I'm doing is, I am deploying a India website. Okay, which is on, I'm deploying 4 replicas, again, which is listing on port number 80. This does not matters, right? We have all already discussed this. Okay, so target port is 80, and let's change the port number for my load balancer as 81. Okay, okay, and then in the next one, what we will do is, container port is 80 only. So this is all deployment, right? So this is deployment, and this is load balancer service. So here, what is this service? Kind of service, and type is load balancer. Okay, so what is the port you are opening this load balancer, that you have to mention. So I'm mentioning port number 80, and where I have to send the request, I'm telling that, okay, port number 80 is your target, so there you have to send it. So that is for India, and this is for Australia website. So this is nothing but same. This is a deployment of 4 pods. Okay, what is important here is, this is the again a new load balancer, which is listening on port number 80. Okay, and sending the request at port number 80. Okay, so we can deploy this one, or I think it's better to discuss about this. Okay, because there you might get confused, like, okay, why we are deploying 2 load balancer. That also you can do, but what ideally we should do is, okay, let's say you have I think I should deploy this. Okay, so I will delete this load balancer. Okay, let it get deleted, and I will apply kubectl apply -f load balancer 2. Okay, so what we are going to do here is, you see, there is one India deployment where I'm doing 4 pods deployment using my image, which is listening at port number 80. Okay, and this is Australia website, which is again listening on port number 80. And then, very simple, I will deploy one load balancer, right? In the previous video, I could have shown it, but what we have to do is, we have to send 2 requests at 2 different ports. Okay, port number 80 or port number 81. So then, so let's say here 82 for this load balancer, which was not needed, right? For this demo, it is better to show only one load balancer, and which should route it to the different websites. Okay, so if you have understood, right? Here I'm doing the Australia website deployment, and here I'm doing India website deployment. Okay, after this, there is one load balancer only. Okay, and let's understand this file. So it's a kind of service. I have given the name of that load balancer. Okay, and this is all spec where of type is, what is the type of service? This is of load balancer. Okay, I have given one selector here, that is my website, to do any filter if required in future. And I am opening the port of my load balancer as port number on port number 81, and I'm sending all the requests to target port 80. Okay, so if you see here, I'm not giving any port number of node port IP. All right, so what it will do is automatically Kubernetes will declare or define that port number. Okay, node port and cluster IP service I am not defining in this file, but load balancer, whenever it will get deployed, it will automatically deploy those things. Okay, so let's get to this command prompt and see here. So kubectl get all. By now everything should be ready. Okay, so you see there are 4 pods running into India websites and 4 pods running into Australia. Okay, so I have deployed a load balancer, but behind the scene, if you see, it has also declared a cluster IP service. Okay, now what we need to see is, what we have to do is we will send the request to load balancer of port, what port? 81. And you see this is also matching behind the scene to any node port service also, 330,493, right? So this will send a request to this one, and again it will send a request to cluster IP service. So here in this example, what we will do is we will just use localhost and port number 81, right? So let's see here, localhost, and I will change it to port number 81, and let's see how the traffic will go. So you see Australia traffic came, right? And now let's continue to refresh. So Australia, 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 Australia again. Let's keep coming. Let's see when it will route to India. Still going in now. Yeah, you see, right? India. So you can see it has also routed to India traffic now. So this is the benefit of load balancer. Now it is all coming to the India traffic. Everything is coming on the India traffic. So that is website it is loading. Okay, if I'll keep refreshing, so somewhere you will see Australia also. Okay, it is still India, but we have seen, right, now it is coming as Australia. Okay, so this is the benefit of having a load balancer service. And you have seen, like, okay, we are routing the service from India to Australia or Australia to India using a single deployment file, right? This is the single deployment file we have. What we have done here is we have declared one load balancer and two services were there, two deployments were there, which were hosting two different images. So based on the load balancer, it was routing it to different websites, okay, using single load balancer. Okay, so I hope you have liked this video, and this video will help you to understand more on load balancer and NodePort. Okay, we will catch you in the next video. Don't forget to subscribe so that it will give a motivation to me also to upload new and more videos. Thank you guys. Thank you. Have a great day.